Beneath the cuneiform tablets of ancient Mesopotamia lies a dramatic saga to brother gods. Enlil and Enki, sons of the sky, father Anu, who jointly shaped the world of the Sumerians, Lord of the air, rose to become essentially king of the gods after Anu, wielding ultimate authority. He was keeper of the tablets of destiny that determined the fates of gods and men. Enki, by contrast, was the lord of fresh water and wisdom, a god of creativity, crafts, and life-giving rivers. Together with Anu, they formed an ancient divine triad, governing heaven and earth. In the old myths, Enlil is often sky and storm, while Enki is water and cunning, and they generally cooperate within the pantheon. Yet through the ages, these brothers came to be portrayed as if in rivalry, one stern and commanding, the other wise and subtle. In this episode, we explore both sides of their story, the traditional Mesopotamian view and the modern ancient astronaut spin, to ask who Enlil and Enki really were. Even among the Sumerians themselves, the brothers blurred together. Him flatly calls Enlil father of the black-headed people, even as other texts explicitly credit Enki with conceiving humanity. But the character traits usually differ. Stephen Bertman Riley compares Enlil to a corporate CEO. If Anu was the heavenly chairman of the board, Enlil was the heavenly corporation's CEO. In other words, Enlil is depicted as the cosmic administrator, firm, inscrutable, final, a family man god who commands storms, decrees kingship, and even exercises the fates of nations. Enki, on the other hand, is the clever engineer and benevolent trickster. He is often shown pouring out water and life. Iconography even shows streams flowing from Enki's shoulders. World History Encyclopedia notes that when the younger gods threatened humanity, Enki always chose human interests, the path of compassion, forgiveness, and wisdom. In other words, Enlil's will is the law of the sky, but Enki's priorities are life and knowledge. This tension is thrown into relief in the great flood myth of Atrahasis. Here the story goes that the population of noisy humans has disturbed the gods. Enlil, enraged by humanity's clamor, persuades the council to unleash disaster. First plagues, then a deluge to wipe out mankind. Enki, however, cannot abide total destruction. In the traditional version, Enki recognized the cruelty and injustice of Enlil's plan, so he secretly warns a pious man to build a great boat. When the floodwaters finally subside, the lone ship comes to rest, and its survivor offers a sacrifice. Enlil peeks down from heaven, sees life surviving, and instantly knows Enki is behind this, and focuses all his fury on him. In that scene, we see the two gods at odds, Enlil's wrath versus Enki's mercy. Thus, the myth concretely casts Enlil as judge and executioner, Enki as savior and counselor. Other myths hint at cooperation. Both brothers take part in creation and justice. But when their wills clash, it's over how to treat humanity and the natural world. In the 20th century, this ancient story was reimagined in a very different register. Authors of fringe literature began treating Enlil and Enki as aliens from another planet. The most famous proponent was Zecharia Sitchin, who asserted that the Anunnaki were an advanced extraterrestrial race from a hypothetical planet X or Nibiru. As a NASA science writer summarized, Sitchin described a mysterious planet Nibiru on a 3,600-year orbit around the Sun, whose inhabitants visited Earth and created modern humans. In Sitchin's narrative, Enki is an alien scientist and geneticist, while Enlil is his half-brother, an enforcer of orders on Earth. Sitchin even recasts the flood. He claims Enlil ordered the flood to destroy the mixed-breed humans, who had become too numerous. In one summary of Sitchin's ideas, the key Anunnaki figures are listed as an extraterrestrial pantheon: Enki and Enlil. These chapters read like a science fiction epic, with Enlil as a gruff commander and Enki as a compassionate engineer manipulating DNA. According to this view, cuneiform tablets of Mesopotamia were not mere myths, but garbled reports of alien visitors. Mainstream scholars, however, strongly disagree with that spacefaring reading. Two historians of Mesopotamia, no ancient text literally describes any planet, Nibiru, or starships. And Sitchin's translations are not used in serious cuneiform studies. Astronomers point out that any such planet would long ago have been seen by amateurs, as one NASA scientist notes. A body on a 3,600-year orbit would have been brighter than Mars by 2012, and amateur astronomers would have spotted it if it existed. Space.com even dubs Nibiru the non-existent planet. It's reminding us that there's no scientific evidence supporting the alleged planet's existence. Within the field of ancient studies, critics argue that Sitchin's entire thesis is built on mistranslations and imagination. A recent educational guide on the Anunnaki notes pointedly that detractors cite the lack of verifiable scientific evidence and subjective interpretation of ancient texts behind the alien god theory. In fact, many Assyriologists regard the Anunnaki as purely mythological figures, gods of nature and society, not real beings at all. Thorkild Jacobson, a leading Mesopotamian scholar, explicitly observed that the Sumerian sources show no conclusive evidence of a rivalry between Enki and Enlil. In other words, the old tablets never hint that these deities were angry alien siblings. Our exploration of Enlil and Enki thus reveals two very different truths. The original Mesopotamian records present them as aspects of a divine order, lordly Enlil in the sky, wise Enki among the waters, with complementary roles in the world. Modern mythmakers, by contrast, have cast them as quarreling engineers of humanity. Which story is real? If we judge by the evidence, the cuneiform tablets themselves paint only the picture of gods, not visitors. Enlil's might and Enki's mercy come down to us in hymns and epics, not in star charts or landing pads. At the same time, the enduring fascination with these gods underscores how legendary figures can be reimagined. Now their tale spills into our present. Have the Anunnaki ever walked our planet in spacesuits? Or are they symbols born of human imagination? We'll take up those questions in the next episode. Were the Anunnaki real or mythical? Join us then as we dig deeper into Mesopotamian lore and modern lore to trace the line between history and legend.